You just signed the papers. 0% APR. Brand new car smell. You feel like you won. You didn't win. You just walked into the most well-designed trap in personal finance and nobody told you. That's dark for an intro. It's true. The average car payment in the US right now is over $700 a month. Not the price of the car, the monthly payment. And most people don't even blink at that number anymore, because dealerships stopped selling cars and started selling payments. Exactly. Nobody asks how much is this car anymore. They ask, can I afford $700 a month? And that one shift in the question is where the whole trap starts. Let's break down how it actually works piece by piece, starting with the bait, 0% financing. Sounds like free money, right? No interest. What's the catch? The catch is almost nobody actually qualifies for it. 0% offers usually go to buyers with excellent credit, and even then, they're often tied to giving up other rebates or discounts. So you either don't qualify and get pushed into a higher rate anyway, or you qualify and lose the cash discount that would have saved you more than the interest would have cost. So the 0% is a headline. It's there to get you in the door. Right, and once you're in the door, sitting in that little finance office, the real trap starts. It's not the interest rate anymore, it's the term. Explain that. 10 years ago, a normal car loan was 48 to 60 months, 4 to 5 years. Today, 72-month loans are standard. 84-month loans, 7 years, are common. Some lenders now offer 96 months. 8 years to pay off a car that'll be falling apart in 6. That's the trick. Stretching the loan doesn't make the car cheaper. It makes the monthly number smaller so it fits your budget, while the total amount you pay goes way up because you're paying interest for years longer. Give me actual numbers, because way up doesn't hit the same as a dollar figure. Say you finance $35,000 at 7% interest. On a 60-month loan, you pay around $6,500 in interest over 5 years. Stretch that same loan to 84 months, same rate, and you pay closer to $9,300 in interest. You added almost $3,000 just by choosing a lower monthly payment. And the car is worth less the whole time. That's the second layer of the trap. Depreciation. A new car loses about 20% of its value in the first year and close to 60% by year 5, but your loan balance doesn't drop nearly that fast, especially on a long-term loan where you're barely touching principal in the early years. So for a big chunk of the loan, you owe more than the car is worth. That's called negative equity, and it's the third layer. If you total the car or want to trade it in, or the loan gets refinanced, you're stuck. People roll that negative equity into their next car loan just to get out of the current one. Wait, they roll debt from one car into the loan for the next car? All the time. Say you owe $5,000 more than your car is worth. You trade it in anyway. That $5,000 just gets added onto the new loan. Now you're financing a brand new car plus $5,000 of debt from a car you don't even own anymore. That's how people end up upside down for years, decade after decade of rolling debt into shinier metal. And once you see that pattern, you start noticing it everywhere. It's not one bad decision, it's a cycle that the entire financing structure is built to keep going. Okay, so let's talk about the part that actually hurts most long-term. Not the interest, not the depreciation, the opportunity cost. This is the number nobody shows you at the dealership. Say instead of a $700 monthly car payment, you drove something reliable and modest, financed it responsibly, and the difference was $400 a month. If you invested that $400 a month into a basic index fund averaging 8% a year, what does that turn into over 30 years? Just over $600,000. Say that again for the people in the back. $600,000 from redirecting one car payment difference for 30 years. That's the real price of the car, not the sticker, not the payment, the version of your future you're trading away. And this is exactly where the trap is psychological, not just mathematical, because a car is visible. Everyone sees it. Nobody sees your investment account.
So people optimize for what's seen. The car becomes a status signal instead of a tool that gets you from point A to point B. Let's talk about how to actually get out of this trap or avoid it in the first place. There's a rule that's been around finance circles for a while, sometimes called the 20/4/10 rule. Break it down. 20% down payment minimum, 4-year loan term maximum, and your total car payment, including insurance, should be no more than 10% of your gross monthly income. Most people financing cars today are breaking all three of those at once: little to no down payment, 6 or 7-year terms, and payments eating 15 to 20% of their income. The fix is not complicated, it's just unpopular. Buy below your approval limit, not up to it. The bank will approve you for way more car than you actually should buy, because the bank makes money either way. The bank's incentive and your incentive are not the same thing in that room. Second, keep the loan term short, even if the payment feels tighter. A shorter loan forces you to buy a car you can actually afford, not a car you can afford to make payments on for 8 years. Third, if you can, buy a car that's 2 or 3 years old instead of brand new. Let the first owner absorb that first-year depreciation hit. You get almost the same car for meaningfully less money. And fourth, and this is the one nobody wants to hear, sometimes the answer is just drive the paid-off car for 2 more years. The unsexy answer is usually the correct one in personal finance. Always is. So here's the real trap, laid out plainly. It's not one bad decision at the dealership. It's a system that turns "how much does this car cost" into "what payment fits my budget," stretches that payment across more years than the car will run well, keeps you owing more than the car is worth for most of the loan, and quietly costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars in money that could have compounded somewhere else. The car isn't the trap, the payment is the trap. Once you start asking the price instead of the payment, the whole game changes. If this hit home, you already know what to check next: your own loan, the term, the balance, what you actually owe versus what the car is worth. That number is more important than anything on the sticker. See you in the next one.